Okay, Form 5, third and final video on this Sunday afternoon. Again, same format. We're looking at the questions that come after map reading, and usually there is some sort of photo interpretation based on one of the themes from the core units. I've done three themes already. This theme will be related to industry. We had one a few videos back that looked at urbanization, which was very similar to industry because it looked at like retail areas, but this one will specifically look at questions related to industry. Now, I'll share screen and hopefully I'll get the right one. Now, I added it below the weather one. Okay, so it's below this, the data I need. Okay, so this is interesting because it actually came up on exactly the same paper too as the weather question. So there were two picture interpretation questions, both worth 8 marks, 16 marks, so nearly worth as much as the map section. So easy points, guys. That's why these videos are short. They're not really teaching you content. That's up to you now. And what we're doing in the course, they're teaching you not to panic and think about how these questions can be answered easily. Now, all right, figure 6.1 insert, I've put it here for convenience, shows the location of high technology industries on a science park in England. Okay, there we go. So we just familiarize ourselves with that. Yeah, we can see features there. We can tell that's not a city centre. We've got lots of trees. Buildings are quite well spaced, no high rise. Okay. State an example of a high technology product. Well, you don't have to be a geographer to answer that, do you? Because you're stuck on these things all the time. It could be, could be mobile phones, computer parts. It could be a place where you design apps, that kind of thing. We'll have a look. Um, it could be components for Formula One cars. Okay, but we'll look at the answer in a minute. But really, there's lots of answers we could do there. Describe the industrial unit shown at A on figure 6.1. So we've got the figure, and look here, look at these. Wow, okay. They're big, you know. They've got good car parking facilities, open space. I mean, I'm not going to say they're white and flat roof, but they're very modern, aren't they? They're big units. They're not little offices. They're almost like, aeroplane. I'm not going to say aeroplane hangars, but clearly there's a big production going on in there. They're not probably not little offices. Okay, that's for 2 marks. I'd be interested to see what the answers to that one are. But we need to cover ourselves. They're high tech. They're modern. It's a large space, large car parking facilities, open space. Okay. I'd assume there's some sort of manufacturing going on in there, not just, office programming. We'll see. The next question, using figure 6.1, suggest two reasons why this area was chosen for the location of a high technology industry. Well, first of all, look at this thing curving round. Okay. That's clearly a motorway or a main road so people can get in nice and easily. Okay. And goods can get out if they are indeed manufacturing high tech chips or something in there. They probably hit that road, so they're close to the airport, the port. Okay. And what other reasons? There's lots of reasons here. It's nice green open space with car parking. So, the workers are not having to be crowded into a city. There's space, there's transport links. Um, this looks like areas of accommodation and shopping where people can live. There's probably five or six good answers. You need two, okay? And then finally, for 3 points, explain why transport costs are not the most important factor when locating high technology industry. Why are they not the most important costs? 3 points. You're going to need more than one thing to talk about. Even if you don't know, it's common sense, guys. Okay. It, if it's if you think if that was a coal mine, think of the sheer bulk of coal to be exported all around the world. Okay, it has to be mined with heavy machinery, put onto trucks, which then take it to the port to go on a cruise on a ship. I mean, transport costs are massive, even if you're making cars or something, huge costs. But when we're talking about microchips, okay, now there's less bulk. Think about motherboards on computers and specialized chips. Really, they've still got to probably move materials, but they're quite light. You can get lots on one vehicle, so it's reducing transport costs. I mean, if it's high technology, maybe they're not even making anything. Maybe they're programming apps. I mean, maybe that's the head office is a WhatsApp and it's just people working on computers. They're not using many obvious resources, okay? So that's the sort of thing. Two reasons, no, sorry, there are three reasons are not the most important factor when locating high technology industry. Um, Transport is important because if they are getting like rare earth minerals or certain things that have to come in if they're actually manufacturing, the transport is important. But these are light, high cost, very expensive, but low volume, if you know what I mean, as opposed to, making tractors or mining coal or even like timber. You've got to move that stuff all around the world, huge cost. They're using ships. These guys could probably do, a year's worth of work in 5 or 6 lorry shipments because it's small, it's expensive, and it's easier to move, I would say. And areas around that, it's not the most important, okay? Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at the answers then. For the first one, so mobile phones, computers, aircraft, electric cars, medicine, vaccines. Yeah, I didn't think of those. That's still high technology. Biotechnology, making vaccines is high tech. Okay. Armaments. I'm not 100% sure on that. Certainly tanks is not. Okay. Now to describe area A. Okay. Um, 1 or 2 story. Okay, it's low rise. It's low rise. It's modern. It's new. We said that. It's large, flat roof. We said that. White and grey. I mean, really? That's taking it to a really basic level. Maybe it has some geographical connection because it might reflect the heat and keep the building cooler. But really, we can all say that building is white and it's low story. It's got glass, it's metal, it's rectangular. There's car parking, there's landscaping, okay? It's just modern. That really is describing, okay? And then for the last question, 3 factors. Oh no, sorry. 2 reasons why it was located in that area. Access to roads links, we saw that. It's flat. Room for expansion, I didn't say that, but yeah, good because that ground behind, they could build another unit there. Okay. Cheaper land because it's probably on the urban fringe, a bit like the question we looked at before. It's nearby housing area for workers to live. Okay. It's visually attractive. People like to work in peaceful environments. Okay. We know that at our school, it's one of our school's advantages. A lot of schools in Mauritius are in concrete jungles with no playing facilities. We're on a beautiful mountain. So, we're in the rural urban fringe. We've got transport links, room for people to live, room for expansion. That's that. Okay. And the last question is okay. What why are transport not the main issues here? And the answers would be small, light raw materials. They're not dealing with, you know, small, light finished goods, high value finished goods. This is worth a lot of money. This, I can't put the phone in, it's worth a lot of money, but it's actually quite small. Okay. Research facilities. Research doesn't necessarily involve having to move millions of tons of equipment. You need to move people. They're using light machines. Okay. They like to be near other high tech places. You get like Silicon Valley. They tend to collaborate with others that might provide their components. So they want to be located near people doing similar things. Okay. They need a skilled workforce. This is high tech. So they want to attract people. So that's a big cost for them. So being near their industry, being near a skill base are probably more important to them than the cost of moving their products. Okay. They need power supply, available telecommunications. That is important. High speed internet, things like that. Okay. And they want a pleasant working environment for their workers. Okay. So it's all there. It's fairly straightforward. Okay. Room to expand near other companies that might provide knowledge and components. good internet connection, nice working space. Transport is important. That's why the road is there, but might not be the primary consideration for this kind of high-tech industry. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. 3 videos on what is a very important section on paper two, worth a lot of points. And really, there is no one that bothers to do this or should get below 6 out of 8. But it all comes out in the wash. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.